FNaF is like SCP, where the entities are captured, interviewed,
What do you want?
and documented on, creating immense chaos. We start with MD Gateways, where we see a recording of someone who's been transported to this uncanny place. Potentially lost, they continue walking further until they find themselves in a large corridor with an extensive amount of doors. Basing off the title and what we see next, this corridor is probably a bridgeway to other realities. Suddenly, a mysterious red entity spots us and we flee, entering one of the doors as it closes behind us. And then Springtrap has been awakened. MD-PTV has been a FNaF VHS series that has been getting a lot of attention due to its incredibly realistic characters and unique story that honestly I am really in love with, and I guess a bit from YouTubers covering it too. Hello dude, that's king. Anyways, the sealed off room where the entity was being held was torn down and he was captured by an organization. Surprisingly, they don't find the person who was transported here, but they do find the camera recorder that contains the footage. They realize that this camera has technology that has yet to exist in their current time, but they ignore it for now as they retrieve Springtrap onto their private facility, leaving us to question where and who this guy is, and most importantly, what was it that he saw? A week after initial containment, interviewer Dennis Crane attempts to get information from the entity.
What is your name?
But to no avail.
I'll repeat. What is your name? Why were you in a sealed off room inside the Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria?
As he doesn't respond. Angered, he remarks how they've been able to hear him talk before, mentioning a Michael and a Henry.
You can play the silent game all you want. We know you have the ability to speak. We have been recording every second of this room for the past week. Who are Henry and Michael?
They end the interview. Theorizing that his unresponsiveness might be in correlation to his lack of energy, they add certain power boosting panels into the room. Before Dennis tries to go for a second interview, he notices the flagship texture instead of Springtrap's suit. So he decides to send colleague and operator of this test, James White, to take a sample of his insides.
I'll be creating a small incision with one of the remaining corpse tendrils. Alright, now approaching with the scalpel. Yeah, creating a very small incision now. I've reached the flesh cavity. I am...
Get scared.
Although Agent James White was murdered, the operation was successful. The sample was taken. The facility draws suspicion to him being William Afton due to the sample indicating he's human and those names he mentioned before. After another unsuccessful interview, they conclude that the entity needs more time with his energy panels.
We're gonna try something different. End it here.
Okay, no problem.
We see him gain more energy and his ability to speak does improve, so...
Hello again. Do you know why you fused to this metal chassis?
Finally, a response.
What is your name?
Are you guys peaked now? I spend a lot of hours making these videos and I'm a really small channel, so you doing one click on the subscribe button that honestly takes less than a second and you can always undo makes my day. In fact, I will give everyone who commented I subbed after they actually did a shallow next video to prove how much I actually really care. Okay, unpausing. Dennis remarks that with the taken sample, they've seen that the nerves in his body have burned out, questioning him for his previous violent reaction.
Hello, William. Why were you in a sealed off room inside the Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria?
Sealed the door shut. Let me to die.
I see. We took another sample from you, this time from the fur on the suit. The human biological DNA only interacted with that within the last 30 years, meaning you were not always in the suit.
I was on the chased. I wanted revenge. I hid 3 hours.
Chased by who?
The dead.
Ending the interview, Dennis Green asks William why he hasn't responded before in a bit of an angry tone, leading to this scene, which might honestly be my favorite part.
How come you are responding to these questions now? I don't think you realize how difficult.
And I don't think you people realize how it feels to have your foot torn apart. Well,
Springtrap tries to stab him, trying to put his entire metallic hand through the torso of Dennis, but he manages to dodge his attack. Well, kinda. It sends him flying through the roof and hitting concrete. Springtrap destroys the door and kills 13 staff members, until they manage to lock him up and he was moved back to his room. But what? They find another entity, this time now being Michael Afton. He refuses to come on first, but as he hears they have William in this facility, he agrees to come as long as they let him talk to him. So, as interviewer Dennis Green was still recovering from the previous attack, Agent Mark Robes was put on the job to interview Michael. But when he mentions Springtrap, Michael acts rather confused.
Springtrap? I don't think I understand.
That is a cover name for what William has become. It appears William has been used with, what was it, Spring Bonnie?
He died too.
Implying that you also died.
He's stuck inside one, and one was stuck inside of me.
When asked if this is anything related to that missing children's incident, Michael responds with,
Yes, I think so. Though I suggest you talk to the others. They might remember more than me.
Others.
Yes, there are more like me out there, animatronics.
After this interview concludes,
Hello, Michael.
Dennis feels ready enough for him to give a try talking to Michael, as he has a lot of questions.
Mark, is he okay?
Oh yes, he's perfectly fine. He was just a replacement for me while I was recovering.
Are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine, thank you.
As we see here and later in the interview, it's formidable that Dennis starts forming a close friendship with Michael, realizing that he's really just a kid who's wrapped in between all of his dad's wrongdoing, who's hurting physically and mostly mentally. Michael starts recapping everything we saw in Sister Location and after.
They used me as a means of escape, tricked me, led me into the scooping room.
Scooping room? What is that?
A room in one of the sister locations. The room had a scooper. It was used to remove machine parts from animatronics, but I suppose if you use it on a human, it just removes the vital organs instead. They said it would click, but I still have everything.
And then we get this really interesting line that is really important for the future of the story.
Though there is something else, something calling me, a lullaby that gets louder and quieter depending on where I am.
The one, in my opinion, is the biggest climax point in the story.
Father, it's me. Yes, it's me.
Comes in the longest episode yet, where, oh, guess what's coming is really, really intense, so keep that in mind, guys.
No, you're wrong. I searched everywhere for you. You were just a monster who killed my brother and sister.
Every day I waited, nobody came. I'll make you suffer.
I've suffered.
It hurts.
Yes.
Good. These people think they can hold me, but I'll tear them apart.
You've lost it. These people were right. You're just a brain trap.
I knew you were with Henry. You just want to stop me.
Maybe I do. Maybe I'll find Henry.
How I keep dreaming of this moment.
Like, go.
Provide for me. Tear the lot against your own.
Michael, are you okay? Michael.
He attempts to escape again, but this time he's actually successful and actually wait, go back? What is that? After a bit of research, I found this is actually a clip from One Got Fat, a 1963 American short film around bike safety, where we follow 10 children. 9 of them have monkey masks and tails, riding their bikes together to the park. Each of the 9 monkeys either do something they knew was wrong, or disobey the given rule, some being naive to the actual dangers present. At the end, only one manages to make it to the park. As he sits quietly, the camera pans back to show how lonely he truly is now. I wonder how this relates to the story. The next episode is honestly just really devastating and sad. showing us footage from Michael's containment and him just being tormented by these horrible thoughts of his dad and all those horrible words he said to him. Finally being emotionally able to answer Dennis in an interview, it ends up just turning with them conversing. Dennis trying to help Mike realize that it's not really his fault, and also theorizing about the lullaby he heard before.
By any chance, do you think this song is related to where William may be heading?
I'm not sure.
Some of the staff think Henry might be behind this signal.
Henry was a good guy. If the music is related to him, that would be nice.
While this is happening, we see the recording of a dad stumbling onto Springtrap in his kitchen room. Before he kills them, and we hear the screams and cries of his wife and this literal baby that he later murders. Upon the findings of this tragic news, Dennis informs Mike that he himself might be getting his mind wiped or shot as he's being blamed of his escape.
What? No, but you're so nice. I really enjoy talking to you. I'm useless here.
You know, even in the darkest of tunnels, they lead to light. You just need to push it open.
Crane turns off the cameras for a bit in order to give him quote-unquote privacy, giving him time to escape. With both entities escaping, possibly following the signal theorized to be coming from Henry, Dennis Creed potentially being killed, and them investigating the sister location Michael mentioned in search for any animatronic. The first season, The Aftons, ends. I love this and mostly wanted to talk about it due to its securely unique and creative story that is way more sensical to what FNaF has become. If you want to find out why many hate FNaF lore nowadays, go watch this video. Special shout outs to Kevin Ortega, Luke WW, Jason runs his fanfiction, that FNaF guy, and close as a render, dumb dog, ready to roll, James, focus, eternal fear, Globman, and smile. Bye bye.